Hello, everyone. This is your girl, Sariah Parker Pill. I'm back here with you on my podcast called Turning the Page with Sariah. I have my star guest here with us today. Her name is Nikita. I don't want to mess up your last name. Your last
Just
name is
think
what?
about the just think about the movie Bad Boys. You remember Mike Lowry? My last name is Lowry.
Okay. This is my sister. She's such a queen. She is hot. She is a connector just like I am. Her name is Nikita Mike Larry. I'm telling you, as you already know, that I'm here today, always, every week at 12 o'clock on Fridays, trying to bring you something that's giving you the right answers to whatever situation you're going through. And she is a believer just like I am, and you know it's some great things going on here. So I would like for me to introduce you to this beautiful African queen, Nikita Larry.
Yes. Thank you for having me, Sariah. I really, really appreciate you.
Oh, I appreciate you for taking the time out to be able to be on the show. So, one thing I do want to get out there first is all of you all that's been hard headed have not subscribed. Please hit the subscribe button. Please share because even if it's not something that we can help you with for you, it could be something that you can connect the dots with so you can be answering someone else's prayers or someone else's question and it can help them. So please subscribe and share. And of course, like it. If you're nosy, you'll love it. So, what I would say to you on that one is, Nikita, can you please tell us what is your brand and what your brand have to offer us or the listeners before we get into the meat of this?
Sure. I'm going to try to keep it condensed because I love my work, and if anybody has ever been a part of our programs, they know I can talk all day about the work I do because I love it so much. So, in a nutshell, our company basically does trauma education and resilience building. So, we have two overarching goals and two undergirding objectives, and they're both the same. We teach people about the biological and social influence of trauma and what to do about it. That's basically it. Those are the two things that we do. We do that from our professional development side, where we work with therapists, teachers, school counselors, law enforcement, correctional officers, and we do it from our family life education side, where we work directly with family units and individuals. And we have clients all over the place, from Maryland to California, literally, Alabama, Massachusetts. We have clients all over the place. So I appreciate you.
That is awesome. And if you want to be able to look her up, believe you me, she is scrolling down that screen, doing her thing. And you can also connect with her website. And the info is on the bottom, right under this beautiful smile of hers on this picture that she has up there, and you can also email her as well. So
Mhm.
just keep looking at that ticket and you'll get your answers without even having to ask a question. So what is it that you have to offer us, and can you please let me know what it is that you might be dealing with or someone that might be in your life, or how do you have a hands-on experience with maybe what you do?
Oh my goodness. So, first of all, this kind of coincides very well with making it simple. So, I'm just going to give a little bit of a background. So, I was and this is in no particular order. So, at one point I owned and operated a child care program. Then I became a K-12 school teacher working in schools, primarily in Baltimore City, a couple in Baltimore County and the surrounding areas. And then I became a correctional officer in a maximum security men's facility. Now it's out of order, it's not quite that order, but I say that to say I have had a lot of exposure to various populations, and the one thing that plagued me ever since I was a childcare provider, especially well, as I matriculated through those careers, childcare provider, in-school teacher, and working in a maximum security men's facility, I always wondered what in the world happened to bring people from this young child that just wants to be connected and protected and loved, and that was really eager to please adults and just live a wonderful life, to a person who as an adult would make decisions that really weren't healthy for themselves or anybody else really. So I started researching and studying. I ended up going back to school. I studied social work. I studied family science. I studied community development. And I did a lot of study around neuroscience and epigenetics and just a bunch of trauma related things. And then I had my own traumas in my life. I
Mm.
I mean, gosh, I have the stories I could tell, but I won't tell them all here. But I also have family members who struggle with mental ill health, and wondering how to help them to navigate, and then learning how mental ill health can be exacerbated by early childhood trauma. So, I mean, I have a lot of personal lived experience,
Mm.
lot of exposure. I've also been exposed to and have relatives who have had chemical dependency issues, amongst some other things. So this work is not only meaningful because of the profession. I really have personal ties to this work, which is why we do it so feverishly and wherever we can.
That is amazing. So, how can some people make it simple by just reaching out to you and getting the answers they long so hard for?
Oh, okay. Well, let me share this story, because many times when I talk about what we do, sometimes people aren't really clear about where they fit or if we're even a good fit for them. So I'll talk about our FLE, or our family life education side. Um, a lot of the families and individuals that come to us for services or support, they confuse us a lot of time with therapists. While we do have therapists in our network, we, according to the APA guidelines, are not a therapy practice. It's just that the techniques that we use are very therapeutic. But we do help people to understand how what they have gone through not only influences their thought patterns and behavior, but how it could literally influence the scaffolding or the building of their brains, and
Mm.
and what they can do about that. The beautiful thing about I can't talk about this and not talk about God. The beautiful thing about God's design of the human being is there's so many things, but just to keep it in perspective, when God designed human beings, he designed us in a way that we have the ability to adapt, which means that we're not a species that if it gets we're not flowers. If it gets cold, we die off, you know what I mean? Or if it gets too hot, we die off. When the Lord designed us, he designed us in a way to help us to adapt to environments, whether it is a physical environment, a mental environment. So when we talk to people about how they can change, I'm just gonna call it a mental environment without getting so jargony. When we talk to
Okay.
people about how to change their mental environment or rewire their brain, and the fancy word is neuroplasticity. Everybody's now talking about it. We we help people to understand that when just because you have come to this place in your thinking, in your behavior, it doesn't mean that you're stuck there. And the reason why you are where you are has a lot to do with where you've been. And just because you've been in a certain place, whether it was chemical dependency, whether it was just some other mental ill health, you can really do things to start to turn things around with certain techniques. And it's just a beautiful thing, because so many people feel like you this is just the way I am. I hear that all the time. This is just who I am. And then my question to those folks is, well, I mean, that's cool, but is how you are serving you in a way that's going to take you to where you want to go? If it is, who am I to say change it? If it's not and you want to change it, let's talk about it. So it so that's our family life tier. And we have all kinds of families that come in. We have a few doctors that work with us around just being fatigued. It's called compassion fatigue. Around compassion fatigue or around secondary traumatic stress. We had a family that was referred to us who had a young person who accidentally shot and killed their parent. So just
Mm.
helping people to work through some of those, not even to really work through the challenge, but to take where they are. Let's talk about where you are and let's talk about where you want to go. And for some of those families, we work in tandem with a therapist because, again,
Mhm.
even though the work we do is extremely therapeutic and can easily be confused with therapy, we are very clear about that. We are not therapists. We partner with them, we have access to them, but that's not what we do. So that's our family life tier. For our
That is
professional,
awesome.
yeah, and and that's kind of like where my heart is because when I first founded this organization, it was founded to serve families only. Families only and young people who were in the foster care system. So
Mm.
that was the initial premise of our company. But then many of the professionals started to come and ask for our help. So in 2021, for our professional development tier, we switched the focus. We really laser focused on school districts across the country because when we would go and we would do training and program and policy development for schools, Sariah, I cannot tell you how many teachers would follow up with us and apply for jobs
Mm.
because they're tired in teaching, not of teaching. So once we started seeing that kind of that common theme of teachers like, listen, I still want to teach, but I'm just tired of being in the schools for various reasons. Then we were like, okay, let's focus on teachers because we need to keep teachers in the schools.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
And we need to attract more qualified teachers. Hello. So we kind of shifted our gaze to supporting teachers. But
That is awesome. So basically,
yeah.
y'all try to make it simple for them to understand that you're not doing what you're doing in vain. You just need to rewire your mind into doing it in the way that needs to be done without you getting tired of what you've been called to do.
That too, and helping administration because we've worked with superintendents, helping administration to understand and see the value in bringing in support services for teachers. A lot of the support services that go into the school districts are for the students, but the
Mm.
teachers need as much support because the teachers are expected to do a lot, teach to the test, manage your classroom, be not only responsible for the academic portion, but teachers like myself and so many others I know want to actually be able to support the student in ways outside of academics. So if you have a teacher in a classroom that loves her students or his students that loves teaching, but they are feeling some compassion fatigue or some burnout, what are you doing to keep them there? So in addition to working directly with the teachers, we also work with the administration looking at policies and practices and programming to help support the teachers and really provoke and encourage them to stay there because they feel appreciated and they feel like that now we have policies that see us and our need.
Mm, mm. So y'all have a lot to offer, like a whole lot to offer, and it's great because I mean it's not too many of you all that's out here that people know about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's great that you are on this show tonight, being able to be have an answer for someone need today. Like
Hmm.
there's a listener out here today that's listening to you and like, oh my God, I've been looking for this all this time, and here she go. And that's God's
Yeah.
way of being able to say, okay, we hear you.
Yeah.
And now you have the answer.
Yeah. So let me just put this out there. We know the answer, which is Jesus Christ. He just allows us to to have access to people. Like we partnered with maternal health and wellness organization in California to do some work in their incubator. And that was just wonderful working with these women around bonding and attachment and the importance of things like gazing and touch to neurological and social emotional development. It was amazing working with these women. So really the premise of what we do, if I were to kind of make it as broad as I can, the premise of what we do is to really help people to understand that the way we treat one another influences how we develop and grow and begin to treat other people.
That is serious, you know,
Very.
because I mean, if I think about, where I came from and the things I've been through, like I had a lot of rewiring to do.
Mhm.
And one of the main things that helped me through that is activating that super gangster God that was inside of me to be
Come
able
on
to
in
do
here.
so. Because I truly believe if I didn't experience him for myself and didn't cut the wire of praising someone else's God because that's all I knew, that I wouldn't be here today. But the fact that he's so gangster and he is my dog, like I can come to him in any way, shape, or form, and he's always meeting me at my needs.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the brain, people really do not understand, or a lot of people don't understand that it starts with your mental state on how you really act, you know, each day.
Mhm.
And it's not easy. It's not
No.
easy, but it is necessary to understand that you need to mentally be together in your mind before your body follows.
Mm.
Your mind will take you places you never thought you would ever been or anything like that. But if you honestly just work on that, and there's nothing wrong with having a therapist or a coach or a
Absolutely
counselor
not.
or a shrink, like
Mhm.
it's necessary.
Yes, it is.
It's necessary because
Yes, it
I
is.
still have one on speed dial. I
Mhm.
still have one on speed dial, and I meet her every 2 months.
Yeah.
Because it's things that can come your way. Like I'm going through so much, but 99.999% of the time you will never know because I still know that the God that lives inside of me is going to carry me through this.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's going to carry me through this. And I'm not going to allow what the enemy trying to attack me with to win or prevail in any way, shape, or form because he brought me here to be able to live another day when I didn't want to live.
Mhm. Yeah.
So my life is not my own anymore. I am
Mm.
here to connect people together so we can connect together and we can win as one,
Yeah.
as a whole, because we all can't do it by ourselves.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
cannot. So if we have these services here for us, we need to reach out to someone. If you know someone that can actually benefit from what she has, Nikita, like that was only God's will of us being able to have an answer when we did not have it.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I just strongly advise if anyone, is in need of any help or just need to be able to talk to someone or anything like that, go after her and you reach out to her. Her email and her website is right here going across the page. Like this is not a game. People are dying every single day
Mm.
because of these mental illness that a lot of us don't know we have because we done snapped.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
answer is there. Nikita, is there anything else you would like to talk to us about? Like, give us any kind of encouragement or whatever it may be, because it will be a part two to this.
Okay. You know what? I generally ask this question of people. Have you ever heard the term, it takes a village to raise a child? You ever heard that
Yes,
term?
yes,
Right.
yes.
So I appreciate that term. I like that term, but I like to flip it a little bit because that particular phrase, it takes a village to raise a child, really focuses in on the child. But I often ask people, and I'm going to ask you, and there's no right or wrong answer, right? There is just what you think about it.
Hmm.
So think about the phrase, it takes a village to raise a child. Now I'm going to say it takes a village to maintain a village with children in it. What's the difference between the two for you?
Wow. It's really, to me, no difference. Because we are still a child as adults if we're not able to maintain a child.
Mhm.
So we need a village to be able to help us to carry on, to not just grow as adults, and we could be an adult and doing adult things, but are we fully grown into the people that we are supposed to be when we need the mental state being helped with so we can maintain our sanity to raise a child?
Mhm. Mhm.
So it's a
Thank you for
lot of
that.
growth there. There's a lot of
Yeah.
growth there. We can still be looking like adults and doing adult things and still mentally be a child.
Mhm. That's true.
We don't have all the answers.
That's true. That's
So
true.
I appreciate that, what you said, because I mean, it takes a village in every aspect of anyone's life to be able to have somewhere to go, ask questions, cry, talk about what you're going through, whatever. Because if you're not maintained in your sanity, how are you going to be able to really raise a child when
Yeah.
we're a child mentally ourselves?
Yeah, that's so true. And that speaks to the village, right?
Hmm.
I like to offer that phrase up that way because a large part of the work we do is around group dynamics and cohesion. So when you think about the village, who needs to maintain the village with children in it, it really highlights the fact that nothing can be done without support and help. This whole phrase, and this is really big in Western culture, this whole phrase, you got to pull yourself up by your bootstrap, is a myth. It's a myth. No one can pull themselves up by their bootstraps because they needed the people who made the boots, who made the straps. Like without those people, how can you wouldn't have shoes. So when we look at the village as its own self-sustaining, self-healing organism, and we think about how, as adults or village elders or whatever your role is, we are responsible for helping to care for and support others, and others are responsible for helping to care for and support us. It doesn't always have to do with money. It could be a hug, it could be a high five, it could be a smile. So when our young people see us handling one another with care, what they're learning is how to sustain a village. Because here's the key when it comes to young people specifically, more things are caught by our children than are intentionally taught to them. They catch how we treat each other. They catch the language we use. They catch our body language. But we teach them, do as I say and not as I do. But when we start getting this mentality down that it takes villagers to maintain the village. What happens by default is that our children see how much care and concern and collaboration is going on. And as they grow and they're exposed to that, inadvertently, they are learning how to do the same thing. And then as generations move forward and grow and come through and pass away and come through and pass away, you have this system of resilience because we're not just saying it, we're living it.
Hmm. I such appreciate that. That is so true. So true. And we really need to like look at each other, not ourselves. We need to look at ourselves and be mindful of what child is looking at us and picking up the things that we do, because those actions will grow into them. And if we can teach them more love and more, compassion and things like that, no matter how much we're going through ourselves, then this will be such a better world. Because right now, these kids are taking over the world.
Yeah. Yeah, and many times what's put on display on the news are not the healthy, happy stories, because there are a lot of brilliant children, young people who are doing amazing work, but they don't get the publicity. So I for one, I know that there's hope. I know it.
Yeah, so me. So it's me. I'm a faith warrior. Like
Uh-huh.
I live by faith. That's
I
all I
know that's
have is
right.
faith.
Yeah.
Because if I leave it to my own demise or my own mind or anything like that, then I would not carry on the way that I do, because it's
Mhm.
faith that keeps me living. It's faith that keeps me pushing. It's faith that always find people like you to be attracted and connected into my life, because God want more for us. Like he
Yes, he
definitely
does.
want us all to succeed and have the greatest things in life, and we just don't get it sometimes, and we have to start with the mind of understanding that if we believe it, we can also see it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And the word of God says the beginning, the start of wisdom is knowing God and fearing him. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's the beginning. That's how you start to become wise and grow in faith, the kind of faith you're talking about. The one thing that we're very open about this in our company, and it's even on our website. The Bible influences the culture of this organization. That doesn't mean we going out here hitting people over the head with the Bible, talking about in Jesus' name. But when we're out and about with whatever clients, whether we're working in a mosque or a school, or if we're working in the Jewish community, there's certain biblical principles that we do our best to live out loud. And
Mm-hmm.
everything that we do is influenced by the Bible. And some people are turned off by that. And some people like it, others really don't care. But the one thing about this organization that is important is transparency. So I need you to know what you're going to get. And if you're okay
Mm-hmm.
with it, great. If you're not, great.
I totally
You know?
understand that. Yes.
So yeah, that's kind of where we are. And that faith, Sariah, that you were talking about is, man, it's the ignition, it's the fuel, it's the fire. I mean, whew.
Yeah, that's all I can do is live by faith.
Mhm. That's it.
Most definitely. Okay, so I'm going to end this show because I definitely don't want to give them all the goodies in just one show. Like, I want them to always want to say, "Oh, let me see what Sarai up to now." Yes, that's what I want. I want you to always say, "Here she go again." Whatever. I'm fine with that. Just make sure you subscribe so you can see that she's here again every
That's right.
Friday at 12 o'clock. Because guess what? We're doing hot topics for the whole summer. If you're interested in being on my show, we can do a little interview and we can see if God said, yes, you can be on there. But you got to understand that it's not a game. We sitting here and we on this show because we want to help others. The only reason why this podcast is live is because I want to help others like God helped me. Like he helped
Amen.
me to be
Amen.
here today. And it's not about me anymore. It's about who we can save, whoever life we can save. Like I just want to save one life one time a day, and I'm
Mhm.
fine with that. If something happened to me where though I don't make it to tomorrow, I know I did everything in my power to do whatever it took to help someone else, like God helped me.
Yeah.
So
God
in
bless you.
that, I'm going to actually have y'all take your pen out, write down her email, write down her website. It's not that long, you know. Write it
Mhm.
down. See what she about. Just know
Yeah.
that this girl right here, Sariah Parker Pill, is the connect of all nations, and I will do whatever it takes to connect anybody in any nation to the right person to get the answer and find their gangster God. Because my God is gangsta. I mean, he is the truth.
I know that's right.
He
I
is the
know that's
truth.
right.
And if you want to find your truth, reach out. We still need you to subscribe, share, and like. And anytime you need anything, ask your girl Sariah. If I don't know it, I know someone that does. Thank you
Mhm.
so much, Nikita. Do you want to
Thank
say
you.
anything before we end this show?
You know what? I just want to say thank you, Sariah, for your sweetness. You are such an inspiration as a person, as a businesswoman, as a wife, as a mom. I really appreciate how you, with intention, let your light so shine before men. I appreciate that. So I
Oh,
just wanted to say thank you for being Sariah. Oh, and lastly, if you are, so we are partnering with churches across the state to
mm.
offer support services and free trainings for ministry leaders who are, well, for ministry leaders. If you want to know more, just reach out to me because we need ministry leaders in place, and it's hard being a ministry lead, whether you're a pastor, the leader of the women's ministry or the children's program. It's hard. So, but reach out to me and I can tell you more about that.
That would be great. I'll be the first one reaching out. Anyone want to follow? I thank you so much, and I just thank
Thank
God
you.
for having his protection over us, his protection over the show, his protection over everything that he touches, and just have more people to believe in your God. Your God is anything higher than yourself. Let your God be the one to lead you into anything that you need done. I guarantee you, if you activate that God inside you and experience Him for yourself, your life will all change. Believe
Mhm,
me, I know. Don't
mhm.
forget, get my first book, Stories of a Lost Soul That Found Her Way. The second book already came out, was number one bestseller international in 6 categories. Third book is about to actually be published, which is a journal, and my fourth book is being worked on right now, and that is called I can't even remember it because I'm just so overflowed with God right now. Like, it's just warm in my heart. On Untold Stories. The name of my fourth book, which is coming out very soon, is called Untold Stories in the Midst of My Journey. You do not want to miss out on these stories. They are real, and they're not beefed up in any kind of way. These are real life things that happen. Nikita can, I mean, she knows on hand the things that I've been going through. Not too many people, I can count on both hands. Not a lot of people know the things I've been going through, the things I went through, and the things I've overcame because of the gangster God that's inside of me. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank y'all so much for listening. And if you want to come next Friday, we'll have some goodies for you all
Party,
again.
party. And get that first book. I have Soraya's first book and I'm going to get the rest of them. That first book, just get it. Just get it. That's all I have to say. Just get it because you will not believe the woman that you see before you versus the woman that was there before. You won't believe it. That first book, it's where, yeah. Just get that one. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, get the book, y'all. Subscribe, share, and like. We love y'all as always. See you.
Bye.